Howdy, everybody. I'm just going to hang on for a minute so people can get on here. Throw me some hearts. That's cool. Yo. Do you ever work, man? I just want to know that. Look at all that love. Oh, Professor Sauer joined in. Yeah, I appreciate you ordering my new DVD. Thank you. All right, well, I'm just going to get started. Hey, I thought I'd just come on here. I just got done working out, did some Jiu-Jitsu. Then I've been throwing around the Bulgarian power bag. I wanted to start out by saying, people ask me all the time, should you be weightlifting when you do Jiu-Jitsu? Back in the day, I used to think no. I used to say no because our goal in Jiu-Jitsu is to find the right angles for everything with the least amount of force necessary. And but people would always ask me that. They would say, hey, should I do weightlifting? And I would say yes, and I would say no to that. If you're doing weightlifting to get better at Jiu-Jitsu, like to be able to force people to do things better, you shouldn't do weightlifting at all. If you're looking to do weightlifting to make your joints better, to make your muscles stronger so that you don't get injured, and to look good for your spouse or significant other, yes, I think you should be doing weightlifting then, all right, and to supplement your training in Jiu-Jitsu. And I don't even think that, you put the weights on and you have the weights and you're doing like bench presses and stuff. I don't think that kind of weight. I use the Bulgarian power bag. It's kind of a leather bag. And what happens is when you're using the power bag, mine is like 42 pounds or something like that. And it's pretty heavy. But I'm working it at angles that I'm going to be using in Jiu-Jitsu, all right? And what that does, like you can use it for like Americana angles and things like that. And what it does is it really strengthens that up so that you don't get injured as much, and you're able to, not get hurt. Especially if a guy does a Kimura on you or something like that, your muscles don't get injured as easy. So once again, if you're doing Jiu-Jitsu or if you're doing weightlifting to make your Jiu-Jitsu better in the sense of wow, I can power a guy and I'm in better shape and I get to be tougher, you shouldn't do Jiu-Jitsu. If you're an advanced guy that already has awesome technique, you bet, man, do some weightlifting, do some cardio kind of workout, and I really believe it'll make you healthy and keep your joints supple and able to move. So I guess that would be my answer. If you guys got any other questions, please go ahead and ask. I've kind of waited long enough for you guys to come on and ask a question. Let's see who has one. Because I can just ramble on about all kinds of stuff anyway, so. It's very quiet. What do you think about cross-training at different schools? Wow, that's a really good question. Cross-training in other schools, and I think in the Pedro Sauer Association especially, we are inclusive in our training. We like people coming in from other schools to train with us. Professors never had this attitude that, oh, you only train with Pedro Sauer people and you can't train anywhere else. He's always been, we need to go out and spread the word of Jiu-Jitsu and be ambassadors for Jiu-Jitsu and, and be inclusive. And what I see a lot is that I see people are starting to try to get sides. This is our group and we only train with our group and we don't train anywhere else. And I'm against that. I like to train at a lot of people's schools because I get to see different attitudes and different things. The thing that's dangerous about it though is if you're a technique guy and you come in and you really go light and you good workout and you go to some schools and they're having a death match where they want to kill you and beat the crap out of you. And so you got to watch out when you go to other schools because that can be kind of dangerous on a guy that has good technique. You'll be so surprised. But that technique, man, those guys will attack you and you'll be like being able to handle it no problem. I see a lot of my guys, they'll do traveling for their jobs or business or whatever, and they'll go to other schools. And I ask them, hey, how'd it go there? And he goes, wow, I did great. I came in there and I was tuning up a lot of guys, and I always like to hear that. But I always like to hear that they're tuning up guys, and they keep their good technique and never have to muscle anybody. So definitely go cross-train, go to other people's school. When you're out of town, go visit somebody's school and go in and take class from them. I don't think you can go wrong. And it's like they have something to prove, because they don't want that new guy coming in and kicking the crud out of them. So here's a little secret for you, just to let you know. When you go into somebody's school and it's the first time and you're dealing with people, go and lose a couple times to guys. If you're staying 2 or 3 days, just spend one whole day just losing to everybody. That way they go, okay, he's no threat to us. And then they'll start taking you in. And then that second or third day, then start going and doing what you do and tapping people out if you can. I think that's probably the best thing. But you want to get in people's good graces. You don't want to come into their school and just start tapping people out left and right because it's not going to bode well for your for your visit there. So be sure to lose. If you're just there for one day, lose a couple times, man, and work with some white belts and help them out just to show that you're a cool guy. And then you want to, as class starts to end, then you can start giving it your best, I'd say. Anyway, give me another question. You bet. Well, you can try. I do Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, dude. You can try. I'll just be defensive and you'll never get me. Or maybe you will. I don't know. That's because you've been lifting weights and you're in such good shape, James Foster. I look forward to seeing you, James, by the way. James is going to be here at my school doing a seminar. So with our buddy Pete Wilhelm and Classy Grappler. So really excited about that. So thank you, James. Go lift some more weights, bro. I can't wait either. Anyway, got any more questions? By the way, James, you didn't show up in the airport, dude, when I challenged you to that death match right there in the airport. I waited around as long as I could, and you didn't show. James Foster, by the way, is a big dude that has awesome technique. That's why he does so well, and that is why he is a Masters World Champion, because his technique is really great for a big guy. He doesn't have to muscle you, and it was awesome. So, fantastic. Anyway, anybody got any more questions? Hey, thank you, Professor, and it was awesome to see you at the Gracie Academy. It's always fantastic to come to your seminar. And I want to say the Las Vegas seminar was outstanding. I learned, 2 or 3 really awesome little tricks, man. You've been hiding those or something. I finally figured out how you learn stuff. You just make stuff up, and it's really awesome. So I'm starting to see that too. So I appreciate you, Professor. Thank you. I'm going to come and visit you here pretty soon at your school. I asked my wife if I could come out and see your new school, so I'm looking forward to that. So, do you push or encourage competition for your students? I try not to push competition, although I want to tell you, going to a competition and being in it is fantastic, because that tells you exactly where you're at that moment in your training. And I mean, you can't go out and get in a fight out on the street, man. I mean, in America here, they throw you in jail and they throw away the key. So going out and starting a street fight to see where you're at as far as, seeing how good your jiu-jitsu is not a great idea. So going to tournaments, I think, is a fantastic way to check yourself out. I highly encourage you to go to tournaments. Do you want to base your whole jiu-jitsu around tournaments? Not me, man. I do Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for self-defense, and there is a huge difference between the tournament jiu-jitsu and self-defense. And if you would like to know the difference, just tell your buddy to punch you in the face as hard as you can, as hard as he can, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, and you will see the difference in the sport jiu-jitsu as opposed to the self-defense jiu-jitsu. But I got to tell you, the sport jiu-jitsu is absolutely fun, and I think everybody should do it. And I make everybody before purple belt go and do at least one tournament so that they can at least make sure that they understand what competition is, going against another human being who's looking right across from you and wants to kick your ass. And I think if you're getting your way to black belt, you should compete 2 or 3 times. I think that's kind of important as far as understanding where you're at. And competition is I think a good thing. It's a positive thing, but we just don't want to get caught up in all the nuances of the points and the advantages where you're doing your jiu-jitsu so shitty, excuse my language, that all you care about is an advantage point or something like that. You want to be the dude that goes for the kill, goes for the submission. And yes, I think submission only tournaments are fantastic. The trouble is, a lot of people don't have the balls to do a submission only tournament because, man, that's serious stuff. You're going to you're out there until somebody submits, and you don't want that to be you, and he doesn't want it to be him. And I'm going to tell you what, the submission only is where the real men and women of jiu-jitsu go, and it's too bad we don't have many of those. But just going to a competition in general, I think, is a good idea for everybody, and I highly encourage it. But self-defense is where my jiu-jitsu lies. Good question. So throw me another one. Just sitting here looking beautiful until I get a question. Look at all those hearts. Where can I train in Moscow, Idaho? Ryan Croniger, I think it is. Always pronounce your name wrong, Ryan. In Coeur d'Alene, man, there's some Higan Machado schools up there. So really, look, I don't know where in Moscow, Idaho, but I think in Coeur d'Alene there's Higan Machado. Those guys are really awesome. I love those guys. They're like my brothers. Anytime a Higan Machado guy comes around, I totally try to help him out. So they're good guys, good technique. So look up that school. That'd be cool. Miss you too, by the way, Ryan. Hope to see you back. What are some of my favorite subs? Well, I'm a big dude, so for years I was on top doing subs. I have a ton of that stuff, but lately, for the last 2 years, I have been working on my guard work, being on the bottom all the time. I am really trying to work on getting my arm bar from the guard, and I'm trying to work on it. Just getting people, they know it's coming, and I'm trying to get that thing. And I put it in correlation with my triangles. Everybody's got their favorite sub, and I have some tricky ones that I use on people, but I really feel it's important that you work on your basics. Get that arm bar from the guard, man. Be able to get a triangle all the time. Those will serve you well. And so those are the things I'm working on right now. And it really depends on gi, no gi, but I really hate being on the top now. I try to be on the bottom all the time and work my submissions, try to get my triangles, try to get my arm bars. So those are my favorites right now. And then, it depends on my mood. Yeah, an arm bar can be done from the guard. It is an amazing thing. And I want to tell you, a cross choke can be done from the guard. A lot of people don't put a lot of stock in those cross chokes. You'll go to a lot of schools and they won't put a lot of stock in that. I'll get you with a cross choke. And in fact, one time I was grappling with the professor, and this was funny. And I don't know, I was a brown belt or something like that. And he said to me, he goes, "Keith Owen, I'm going to choke you now." And I said, "No, you're not, professor." And bam, cross choke, got me. No problem. And right then and there I knew, okay, even when you know it's coming, man, guys can get that. So cross choke, you should be able to work that. You should be able to work those arm bars, man. Make it easy on yourself. Just because a dude's a black belt doesn't mean you can't get him in an arm bar. You just got to do it right. And if you can't, then you're not doing it right. So far, I got the answers to all these questions, I think. Anybody else have a question? You get tired of staring at me? I really enjoy our stand-up self-defense. We have a night dedicated to that. Is that a big focus for you? Absolutely. We want to honor Elio Gracie. And the stand-up self-defense is super important, man. Out on the street, you don't want to go to the ground. Especially when there's 2 or 3 guys, you don't want to be on the ground out there. And that self-defense will really help you out. So don't be a guy that just goes, yeah, the self-defense, I don't like it all that much. And if you're a school owner, you want to focus on that self-defense. It's an important thing. People come to your school for self-defense. So focus on the self-defense. That's what we should do jiu-jitsu for. Guys standing up and grabbing you, and you should be able to do those. And, again, it honors Elio Gracie as well. So I don't have a class dedicated to the self-defense, but I would certainly like to have a class dedicated just to the stand-up self-defense. Next question was, what's a reasonable fee for jiu-jitsu? Well, jiu-jitsu is priceless, man. And if you're a guy who's just, one of the things that bugs me are those guys that just try to look for free classes wherever they can go and don't want to pay for jiu-jitsu. If you'll pay for jiu-jitsu, things will go a lot better for you because you will take your jiu-jitsu seriously. You will show up all the time, and you will do jiu-jitsu because you're paying for it. I charge about $100 a month, and I'm charging way less than I really should. So I'd pay $150 a month for jiu-jitsu. I know in some places there's $200 a month. So it really is what you can afford. But man, you go out and have dinner and do all that, you're wasting $200. All you got to do is make sure that you budget it wisely. But jiu-jitsu is important, man. I think it's priceless. I'd pay lots of money to come to jiu-jitsu. I do seminars all the time, and I don't mind paying. It's a good thing because then I'll take it seriously and I'll always learn. So I think a reasonable fee is over $100 for jiu-jitsu, depending on if you're a blue belt. I don't know, maybe charge $60, but always charge higher. Last thing I'll say, always charge higher than what you're worth, because one day you're going to be worth that. And B, the more money you charge, the better kind of student you're going to get. If you're charging $20, you're going to get the crappy students, the really bad guys, the guys that are in trouble, the guys that, have been in jail and prison. They don't want to spend a lot of money. But you charge a lot, you'll get the people with a lot of money, and they tend to be a higher class of people. I'm sorry, 23 years I've just discovered that. So a higher class of people when you charge more money. And we don't want to use jiu-jitsu to teach criminals and felons and things like that. We want to have that higher person for honest people. And so the more you charge, you might get less people, but you make more money eventually, and you'll get a higher class of people. Will you compete in the future? After James Foster won the Worlds, I started thinking about that. I thought, man, I'd go compete again. And I've, believe it or not, I've competed an awful lot. When I was a purple belt, I competed numerous times. I've probably gone to 20 tournaments. I've been in about 20 tournaments, but, I really focused on teaching a lot more. So, because I had to run a school, I had kids, I had all of those. So, I focused on my students a lot. So, I'm really thinking about that, but, I got a lot of things going. So I'm a busy guy. So, but I'm exercising all the time. As you can see, you probably saw I've lost a ton of weight. That's because I don't eat, and I exercise all the time. So just trying to get in shape, and I want to be able to, if I had to fight right off the bat, I'd be doing great. So that's kind of my goal. So getting in shape is good. What mental tools do you impart to your students, and how much do you stress the importance of it? What do I weigh? I weigh 150 pounds. All right, maybe more than that. I don't know. 2 something. I tell you what, jiu-jitsu is a lot of mental game. The mental game is super important in jiu-jitsu. It's not just about moves. It's about your attitude, especially the feelings that you have and the mental attitude that you have. When you're doing jiu-jitsu on the bottom and you're being crushed, like I've grappled with James Foster on numerous occasions since he's here watching this. That dude is way big. He's bigger than I am. And I'll tell you what, it's easy to panic underneath. And I just stay calm. I'm like, I'm going to be calm. And, if I get tapped, I get tapped. But having that calmness and that attitude when you're under there, I didn't say be weak or don't be an attack or anything like that, but you got to be able to be calm and don't freak out, because I'll tell you this, claustrophobia can set in very, very easily if you don't watch out. You'll be under there going, oh my God, I want to get out of here. And you should be like, embrace that. There's a term called embrace the suck that military guys use, meaning that things suck and you might as well just embrace it and love it and be happy about it. And that's what you need to do when you're especially on the bottom in jiu-jitsu, man. You got a guy crushing you, parking his car. You just need to smile and be happy about it, that you're training jiu-jitsu, because, man, the mental attitude is huge. I always say when I'm on the bottom, I swear to you, this is my attitude. Yeah, I'm going to be out of this in a second. There's no problem. I'll just sit here for a while. I can't escape now, but I'll be out. But I always keep a positive attitude when I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm never going, oh my God, I got to get out. Oh God, I'm going to get tapped. He's going to get me. That never enters my mind. If I get tapped, great. I'll just smile about it and go, wow, you got me. But when I'm under there, I'm just totally, my attitude is good things are going to happen to me. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to get out. At the very least, I'm going to survive. And so that's the kind of attitude that you need to have on the bottom, is a survivor, positive attitude, having fun, playing, good time. If you get tapped, you just need to smile about it, congratulate that guy, and, slap hands and go again, But the mental aspect is huge. When you're at a tournament, the mental aspect is, I used to think that you should have this, you should be in the zone and you should all be, I'm going to kick his ass and looking at that guy and staring the dude down. What I try to tell people, and I tell my guys, and it works pretty good, when you're at a tournament, you should have a huge smile on your face. You should go up to the ref and say hi to him. Walk over to your competitor and smile and say, hey, dude, how's it going? Talk to him for a minute. Totally freaks the dude out. He's going, why is this guy so calm? And your attitude is, God dang, I'm going to kick your ass. This is going to be so simple. It's good. And you don't say that to him, but you're just smiling at him and just being totally loose and cool. And you will be. And then when it's time to go, you go and kick his ass. You don't hesitate. You go and beat the shit out of that dude. And I'm telling you, it works really good. The guys are like, why is he being nice? What does he know that I don't know? And I think you'll have success at it. Every time I see a dude who's focused, jumping back and forth, I go, oh, dude, he's scared. You can just tell he's trying to get his body moving so his nervousness wears off. One thing that I want to tell you, the last thing I'll tell you about your mental attitude is and this works great for me, and I'm going to give you a secret here. I do not care who I grapple with. If it were Hicks and Gracie, I do not care who I grapple with. If I'm scared of that guy, all right, if I'm looking over, sometimes I'll go, oh, crud, I hope I can get this guy. I'll be scared, and I'll instantly in my mind go, yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared right now. This is going to be interesting. I'm scared. And the minute you start saying you're scared, what happens is your body has nowhere to go anymore. Yeah, it's the guy that goes, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I won't. I'm going to do well. I'm not scared. If you'll just admit it, hey, man, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm whatever, and just admit it to yourself. It instantly goes away, man. So like you get up in a group of people. I teach in front of people all the time. And sometimes, man, like I saw a professor the other night at the Gracie Academy. And I'm like, wow, this is a really intense thing. This is a big, big deal for him. And I was nervous for him. And he just handled it great. Big smile on his face. You could never tell. And I met inside then. That dude was just freaking going, oh, God. Here we go. Let's get this going. And he might not have, but me personally, if I would have been teaching at the Gracie Academy, I would have walked in there and I would have said, "Oh God, I'm scared." And I would have just admitted it to myself. Holy crap, Hunter and Huron are standing right there. Oh my God, I hope I do okay. And I would just admit it. And you know what? The nervousness would go away because it has nowhere to go after that. So just admit it to yourself, man. As men, especially, if you're scared of something, just admit it to yourself. You don't have to admit it to others, but admit it to yourself. And I promise you it'll go away. And I don't care who I'm grappling with. I don't care how big the dude is or how good he is. I'll just say, yeah, man, this guy's scaring me right now, but I'll get in there and I'll do well. And I do. So anybody else have any questions? Take one more. I don't know when I'm coming to Triton, by the way. Pete Wilhelm needs to invite me. However, he's coming down to see me. How can I request a seminar taught by you in Moscow, Idaho for U of I students and soldiers? Just call me up and I'll come up there. I'll do it. We'll negotiate. So I'd love to come up there. I got friends up there, and I could easily just drive up there too. So anyway, anybody else have a question? Last question. Make it good, please. What do you expect from a blue belt? Well, from a white belt, I expect absolutely nothing except to learn well. From a blue belt, really, and this might sound odd, but me personally, I expect you to be a cool person in class. That's what I expect from a blue belt. Quit acting like you know it all, because you don't know it all. But be humble and be cool. There's nothing worse than a blue belt who's pretty good, and then he starts beating up on all the other guys or beating up on the white belts. So I expect my blue belts to be kind, nice, helpful, decent to other people, and just get the understanding of jiu-jitsu. When you're a purple belt, I expect you to be able to roll, be able to hook, be able to sweep, be able to handle yourself really good. And then brown belt to black belt is you're just working on your techniques and getting them down. But as a blue belt, I want you to be a good person. And I'll tell you right there, if you're a bully or mean in class, and I don't have too many of those people because you really attract, I think, who you are in your school, and you will I'll tell you if you're being a bully or not nice, I'll let you know. But I just want you to be cool because I can work with cool and being a good student and being polite. I don't think that's probably the answer you were looking for, but I'm not looking for you to beat all the white belts up or beat people up. I don't even care. It's a learning time. That's what purple belt is all about, is beating people up at purple belt and at brown belt if you want to. So anyway, all right. Well, that was my last question that I'm going to answer. I want to just tell you that I have a new DVD out. This is a shameless plug. Lights Out Volume 2, Lapel Chokes. I know I'm a self-defense guy, but I'm fascinated by lapel chokes. Could never get them, so I designed a curriculum, some concepts on how anybody, white belts, blue belts, purple belts, can get lapel chokes. And it's, I got to tell you, I think it's really revolutionary. I showed it to my class. I've been showing it to a bunch of people, and they have been coming back and telling me how they're getting lapel chokes, how it's easy to do it, because it's a special way that you wrap those lapels so that they don't necessarily notice. So I'm telling you, I think it's a breakthrough DVD. It's revolutionary. It'll help you out immensely. If you're a black belt that wants to work on your lapel chokes and get better, please check it out. You can get it at Team Rhino BJJ in the gear section. Pick it up. For right now, there's no shipping, so it's free shipping. So if you live in Israel, it's quite a good deal for you. So anyway, if you guys had fun, give me some hearts right now if you had a good time with this. Oh, I appreciate that. Good. Thanks, guys, for listening to me. And I'm going to be in Kansas this weekend. Benoit, Kansas, so Dustin Dougherty. So I'll be seeing you there, Dustin. Thanks, James Foster. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Professor. I appreciate you hanging out, listening to me. I hope I didn't say anything that went against what you're saying, but that's my thoughts. Anyway, see you guys later. Appreciate you.